There's going to be countless grievance studies majors fighting for work now, and I can't wait to see it. Florida DEI leader sees revenue cut in half due to state policies. We're in trouble. If it's only cut in half, that means it's not been fully implemented yet. It all needs to go, and it will after a certain bit of time. So Governor DeSantis' Stop Woke Act targeted racism programs in schools and the workplace. So their problem now is, I think they're going to try to rebrand it. Kirsch keeps bringing up, they're going to call it Bridge. They're going to call it something different and keep funding it. But for now, I don't think they're smart enough to do that. So multiple DEI consulting companies have been struggling in Florida in the years following the Stop Woke Act. Ronnie Bennett, the executive director of Southern Florida POC, told the Miami Herald that Thursday she has seen her annual revenue of nearly $300,000 be cut in half thanks to Florida's new policies. We're in trouble, Bennett said. Good. This is bloat work that has no need to exist. If you're a business and you're wasting money on this shit, you clearly don't need any more money. It's like with Wikipedia, like they keep begging for more and more money, and then they waste like half of it on DEI shit. Yeah, I think I know where you could double your money, guys. Stop being stupid. That's all you need to do. But I mean, I guess it's too much of an ask. Like if these were smart people pretending to be stupid, you could tell them to stop being stupid. But these are legit stupid people. The Stop Woke Act, or the Stop Wrongs to Our Kids and Employees Act, okay, clever, is a law that passed in current year -3 by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. It targeted racism in the work and indoctrination programs. Then it found that many businesses stopped requesting services from organizations despite the slight boost during the pandemic. It wasn't really the pandemic. It was the burn, loot, murder riots that were happening around the same time. Which, speaking of the media as well, you remember how they were running interference for burn, loot, murder? Like all the rest of us had to stay indoors with our masks on at all times. Yet burn, loot, murder was allowed to go out and riot, and that was fine. Bennett added how even prior to the act, she saw shifts in some clients' attitudes, suggesting the organizational interest was performative. I wonder what we're going to see now. Like now that these organizations see that this performance of theirs has cost them over half their customers, what's their next performance going to be? So one client had a president change and the new president wasn't into DEI training, she said. The new president wants to save the company from the sound of it. Consultants like Bennett now trying to remind current and potential clients that regardless of national concerns like this about the Stop Woke Act, the bill does not actually target private businesses. No, it doesn't, but private businesses are starting to realize that they need to do this on their own because woke shit doesn't get you any money. It kind of did from the banks. When if you could prove you were woke, they gave you lower interest rates. They gave you bigger loans. Yeah, rent a protest lefties for sure. That's important because the Stop Woke Act for businesses became very prominent after passing. Alexander Rundlet, a Brickell lawyer and public policy consultant, said it made every business fearful it couldn't participate in DI training in fear of the act. Since March, it's clear this doesn't apply to businesses. In March, the federal appeals court ruled that the workplace portion of the law violated the First Amendment. So what that means is if you're an old straight white male, it's up to you to sue your employer if they discriminate against you. We cannot agree. We reject this latest attempt to control speech by characterizing it as conduct. Florida may be exactly right about the nature of the ideas it targets or may not. Either way, the merits of these views will be decided by the clanging marketplace, or I think that meant changing marketplace of ideas rather than a code book in the courtroom. This judge is actually right. The First Amendment keeps the government from putting its thumb on the scale. Yeah, I actually agree with this judge. I actually agree with it. Instead of legally forcing these companies to drop the woke bullshit, just let the free market choose which ones survive. I'm fine with that. As long as there's no government favoritism towards one or the other. So a federal judge later granted a permanent injunction against that portion of the law in July. However, the portion of the law focused on indoctrination has been allowed to remain intact. Despite the favorable ruling, DEI consultants' businesses continue to struggle based on growing anti-woke culture. Or as we like to call it, when reasonable people win, when cooler heads prevail. So a lot of deep and widespread harm has been inflicted over the past few years. And that said, people like Ronnie Bennett have to do a lot of work to undo that harm. I actually disagree. You guys are the harm. And we are now putting in the work to undo the harm you guys have caused. So you're not exactly wrong. You just lack self-awareness. So the Miami Herald reported that Bennett nevertheless remains steadfast in her work, though she's looking for an angel investor to help her business. Okay. As per usual, none of these types can survive in the market. They always need someone else to bail them out. Hey, I need someone else to fund my brilliant ideas. Well, if your ideas were so brilliant, wouldn't people just want to buy them? Shut up. That's racist. Oh. Now, we owe it to the next generation to make progress for them, she said. I want to be able to dismantle systemic racism in America. I actually agree. I also want to dismantle systemic racism in America, which is why all this DEI shit has to go, because that's just systemic racism against white people for the most part. Yeah, we can agree on this. I also want to get rid of systemic racism. Or I guess systematic racism in this case. Sorry. I just got so used to saying systemic racism. I actually missed the old way. Yeah, DEI did nothing but brought back racism. I agree. There are so many people that were on the verge of becoming completely colorblind effectively. Now they're radicalized because they've been discriminated against and treated poorly. So they're going to reciprocate. And I don't blame them at all. It creates resentment, which will eventually lead to a backlash. Oh, it's not even just that. I mean, it may not even be a proper backlash either. It could be seen like we see with MGTOW, actually. It could just be people disengaging. Like how men are just leaving the dating market altogether. Like, I've been enjoying those TikTok videos. Like, especially the ones where the women's go to some singles like dating event, and there's like 100 women and only 3 guys, and they were only there for the free food, and they left like right after they ate. That's pretty much what it's like now. Like so it was for years, like when I was getting started with my YouTube channel. You guys remember like every woman asking that a few years ago? Where have all the good men gone? In current year, the question has shifted to where have the men gone? Yeah, because now they can't find anybody.